What's up, everybody? Welcome to the surface of the sun. It is hot today. It's hot today. Man, but it's Florida. Florida's the Indian word for you're going to burn alive. All right, so today what we got is wheels. Again, yay! I think all we do on this channel is wheels. I'm not sure. I mean, I look back and it's nothing but wheels. All right, so today what we got is old Centerline. So I'll bring them up there and show them to you. Old Centerline. It's painted and pretty gnarly everywhere else. You'll never guess the color they're going to be. Ah, if you guess stone black, you nailed it. How come everything's stone black and how come they're always wheels? Dang. But we got some stuff coming up. I'll show you the back one. We got some stuff coming up later this week that is going to be a little different. We got some teal airboat stuff coming. Of course, we've done airboat parts a gazillion times, but woo! It's ugly. It's ugly. But that's why they're here. People don't bring pretty stuff. And we're going to do, this is a paper towel holder. Old Toady paper towel holder. Some cast iron stuff. This I'm going to have to drill a hole in it because I cannot levitate it. There's no hole in it to, I've tried to levitate stuff. I try to wheel it, but it ain't doing it. It won't do it. It will not do it. All right, so you get to see what we're doing today. Well, that's part of what we're doing today. And I'm going to blast this stuff, get it all prepped up, probably get it hanging on a cart, and then we'll come back like we normally do and show you what that looks like, show you how we prep them from there out. And that's pretty much what we're going to do today. So stick with us. We'll show you every little detail that we can think of so you can do this in your shop or your garage or wherever you're powder coating your stuff at. Stick around. Well, look what we uncovered. I didn't even realize that these wheels have sealer in them. It's a two-piece wheel, spun aluminum wheel. It's riveted in the center, and that's how it seals to keep the air from escaping through the center. Well, we've done these in the past, and you know, I'd say it's about a 70–80% chance that they're fine. That's silicone that's on there. The caps and plugs that we use for plugging things, threads and holes are also silicone, and they go through the oven. So generally it's not an issue. What you do when you come to something like this, the first thing I did was call the customer. Tell the customer, hey buddy, you realize that your wheels got sealer in them. You know, he realized that he knew what was going on. He's an old school guy. And I explained to him, there's a couple things you can do. You can pick them up and paint them. You can, we can just go ahead and proceed and powder coat them. And I explained to him that, you know, there's a chance that you're going to have to reseal them. And basically what I do to reseal them, as I tell people to do, is you just put the wheel on the car with no tire on it. So you got something to hold it. And then you can spin it and use the knife to cut that out. And then it kind of sucks to do after it's powder coated, but it is what it is. And then you use the same deal to reseal it. They make the sealer to seal it. I'll tell you the ones that are really the real problem are wire wheels, because all the nipples, the spoke nipples, are all sealed with that. You know, if it's a tubeless tire. If not, it has a tube in it, which there's some skinnies that go on the front that are tubeless, and I don't know if these are going to have tubes in them or not. I'm not really sure. But he said that he's good with me powder coating them, and he'll deal with the sealing. So we're going to proceed, and we'll show you what that looks like. But we got them blasted. I went around with the DA like I always do, 320 paper on the faces, inside the dish, around the lip, around the bottom lip. Basically what I do, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to mildly heat these up. We're not going to go, you know, moon temperature. There's no reason to go to 400 degrees with it. What we're trying to do with this sealer is we're going to try to let these wheels spend the least amount of time at high temperature as we can. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat them up to 200, 250, where we know the silicone is safe. And we're going to put a coat on them. We're going to put them back in the oven, pull them up to maybe 325, pull them, cool them, We're gonna recoat them. This is where we got to pull them to 400. We got no choice. We got to pull them to 400 and we got to hold them there for 10 minutes and then we can pull them out and cool them. So we're going to try to minimize the amount of time that it's at high temp. You don't want to just let it lollygag, put it in there heating up for 30 minutes with sealer on it. Same thing you do when you spend a bunch of time taping something. You don't heat it up to the moon because your tape shrinks, comes off, you got a bunch of problems. You heat it up enough to do what you need to do with it and get it out of there. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get these in there and heat them up, and then we'll come back and we'll show you putting the first coat on. I don't know if I'm gonna do the whole thing in full speed or if I'm gonna time warp it, because I mean, how many times do you really need to see somebody spraying powder on something? But it's a powder coating channel. I guess I just got to keep doing it over and over because this is what I do every day, over and over, this type of thing. So I'm showing you how it really is. All right, we'll get back to you here in a minute. All right, we're ready for our first coat of black. We got them mildly preheated. They're not like super hot. I'm still gonna go with what I know. I'm gonna do the bottom first. And we're just gonna get a quick coat on them. Well, that ain't enough material. Why? Give the hopper a little wiggle. Maybe I need one more little pop. All right, there we go. All right, now let's see what we got. See if it's any better. We're gonna be a week and a day doing that. All right, we got something. Ooh, she's doing it now. Good stuff. All right, yeah, like I said, we're just getting a real quick coat on it. We're just blackening it up a little bit. And we'll do the bottoms of both, the tops of both, and then the barrel of both. And back in the oven they go. I like to try to get the first coat. Yeah, no, I usually put them in, especially when they're hot, because right now, I don't know what the temperature is. We'll temp them before we put them back in there. How about that? We'll know what the temperature is when they're going back in there. What do you think? Let's just get some data. See what we come up with. All right. Got to go over to the other side. When you run into stuff on jobs, you know, whether it be a cracked weld, you know, sealer in the wheel, whatever it happens to be, you just got to stop and call the customer. I mean, that's all there is to it. Just to make him aware of what you were dealing with. Because if you didn't talk to him about it when he dropped the wheel off, you better call him. I mean, if you saw it, which I didn't, I mean, I just showed you guys that wheel. This is just going to tell you something, okay? I just showed you guys that wheel in the opening scene. I grabbed it off the table, 2 of them, flipped them around, never noticed that they had sealer in them. As soon as I went in the blaster and touched the inside of them, I'm like, oh, hell, these got sealer in them. Huh. And this goes to show you, sometimes you got to pay closer attention than me. That's for sure. Because somehow I missed that part all the way up until like the end. Now we're going to go to the top, and I'm just going to, this is a solid wheel. So I'm going to start at the valve stem and just try to cut in the bottom corner. Oh God, I'm too close. I'm going to have to spread these apart a little bit, it looks like. I wasn't skinny enough. Yeah, that's working pretty good. I cannot complain at all. Stone black's a nice color though, man. It sprays pretty good. It's not rocket science. It's just flat black or satin black, whatever you want to call it. But it does have its things. One thing I'll tell you is I don't like the look of it with just one coat. So there's things, if you, like I did some hinges for some boxes in stone black, and you can't really just keep putting multiple coats on, you know, moving parts sometimes because it'll get too goopy and it just won't work. So what I do is I just put one coat on, and you just got to really watch, you know, and make sure you're putting enough on there so that it flows and looks like the double coat. Because, you know, let's just say, for instance, I double coat the box and I single coat the hinge. You don't want it to look different, right? It's not what you want, but it could happen if you're not careful. You got to watch, you know, if you spray one thing hot and something else cold, a lot of times they'll have a little bit of different of a look. So you gotta try to be consistent with it, but then again, you can't put so much material on there that the damn hinge don't work no more. I mean, what good is that? We just about got this done for our first coat. We're not really concentrating on making it perfect. We're not concentrating on, you know, we're just trying to get a coat of material on there. We can fill the pores of the metal up, stick in the oven and pull it out and be able to evaluate what we need to do to get the look that we're at. That's pretty much the way I look at this. This first coat's almost to me like primer, if that makes any sense to you. But why prime with something different than you're using, unless you're after adding corrosion protection, and then by all means, I'm not knocking primer at all. I'm just saying that on stuff like this, where it doesn't need primer, we just act like we're priming it. How about that? We're not even really acting like we're priming it. We're just, when I was blasting these, it was on one of these rear ones, I found something written in Sharpie that said 9/24 of 1984. So these bad boys are old. They old. They get into facelift though. All right, so we're gonna put these in the oven, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. They're very thin. They're kind of light. You know, it's aluminum. It's not gonna be much to do it. So we're gonna put them in there 3 or 4 minutes, pull them out and cool them. I'm gonna dust up the front ones. I might turn the camera on for that. I might not. Probably not. You don't want to watch that again, do you? I mean, we're going to do it again when we double coat it. So why do the hot coat or the first coat twice on camera? It makes for a boring video. I'm trying to keep from being boring. You know what I mean? It's already boring enough as it is. There's no excitement. I mean, I don't know how to make this exciting. You know, explosions in the background and, you know, I don't know. About exciting as it gets, I get a raccoon that darts through the shop every once in a while, but I'm not really excited about that either. All right, well, we're gonna put them in there, see what we get, and we'll come back and show you the second coat. All right, so I nibbed the surface with 320, just went around. There's a couple little specks. It was really nothing, so I just did it real quick. Piece of cake slice pie, makes me happy. And we're gonna go ahead and put the second coat of stone black on them. We're going to do that right now. And we're going to use the ground more than likely. All right. So the first coat I sprayed at 50 kV. And this coat on recoat, I have it down to 30 kV. So just wanted to go over that. Usually your coat direct to metal will be at a different kV or a higher kV. You can get away with a higher kV on your coat direct to metal. Your recoat over top of existing powder, not so much. Way easier to back ionize it if you have the gun up too high. See, you can get away with overcharging the powder when the part's bare. You know, try it, do an experiment. Turn your gun to, let's say 50 kV and spray something, and crank it up to 100 and spray it. It's really not a whole lot different. You still have to use good gun etiquette, good gun technique. You know, don't stay in one spot too long, all that, but it's not really too much different. Now try that. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But if you were to try to do that on something that was already powder coated and you're putting a second coat on, and you crank that baby up to 100 kV, God help you, it's gonna blow out everywhere. It ain't doing it. This ain't, nope. So just keep in mind that, you know, if you're trying to use like an Eastwood gun or something that's not adjustable, some Harbor Freight gun, or doesn't have adjustable kV, you're not going to really be able to do double coats. You're going to have to just stick with single coats. You could probably hot flock and double while it's hot, something you can get away with that kV. But that's about as far as you're going to go with that, because of the fact that you cannot turn the voltage down. Really, on your gun, you want to be able to adjust the microamps and the kV. You want to be able to adjust both of those, because a lot of times the kV, if you turn it down too much, will start making it where it doesn't stick. So what you can do is you can leave the kV up a little bit and basically neuter it by turning down the microamps. Because if it don't have any amps, it doesn't matter what the voltage is. It doesn't have any nuts to do it. So honestly, I think the amp control, well, that's not true. The voltage control, I would say, is your coarse adjustment, okay? And then your fine adjustment is going to be the microamps. So if you really want to do professional stuff, okay, get a gun that you can adjust the microamps and the voltage as far as the electrostatic part of it goes. And you should be able to, you know, other than that, they're all doing the same thing. It's not like this is a big secret. Oh, everybody's like, oh, this gun, that gun. You know, I use Nordson. See how it says Encore somewhere on here? It says Nordson on the back. Yep, see? It's just what I use. But honestly, it's a Ford Chevy thing. You know what I mean? I look at things from a practical standpoint, and that Ford Chevy thing don't make any sense to me. Now, explain me something. They're both big chunks of iron that, you know, are essentially, if it didn't have a name stamped on it, you wouldn't know who made it, because they're all the same, you know, generally, you know. So, I don't know. They're doing the same job. Some of them may or may not be more reliable, or, you know, more, let's call it an industrial or commercial. I can tell you this, the Nordson stuff's rock solid. I mean, I've been using both of these guns I bought new in like 2014 or 15, rock solid. Not even a set of cables, but I baby my cables, and, you know, if you notice, my guns are stretched out. So it's hard to run the cables over. That's one of the reasons why I do that. I don't keep them wadded up or coiled up. You don't want to do too many coils and uncoils with cables. And I don't know. I've had people that work for me that go through a set of cables every 3 months. And I'm like, I don't know if they're yanking on. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. But these have been in here for quite a while. Both of these two cables, and no issue yet. I'm sure it'll happen. I'm sure it'll happen. I mean, nothing doesn't break down at all. But I bought 2 of these guns, and they have been trouble-free for, I don't know, it's had to be almost 10 years, maybe a little less than that, maybe a little more. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look it up, and I spray a lot of stuff. I mean, oh boy, I spray a lot of stuff. Why you want to be a turd, man? What is this little? This stuff, I'll tell you right now, the satin black, I'll tell you what it does, okay? You ever spray satin black and it'll throw out little white specks? You want to know what that is? more often than not, that's a little ball of wax, because you got to understand powder coat's inherently glossy. In order for them to make it sad or flat, and they have to add wax to it. Actual wax rises to the surface, and next thing you know, it's flat. So, all that being said, sometimes I think the wax traveling down the hose is affected sooner by heat or a lower temperature, and you get these little balls and it'll spit out. But I'll tell you that if it's wax, the surface will be unaffected by it. You could look and see where that little piece is laying and leave it there, put it in the oven, and when you pull it out, there's nothing. But I just don't like to leave stuff laying there that, you know, why? I just don't like it. Okay, well, that's the double coat, and we're gonna put these in there and bake them. This time we're gonna put them in there for, it's gonna have to be in there 20 minutes. I hate to trying to be easy on that sealer, but it stayed down for the most part. It's a little frilly around the edges a little bit, but it ain't moved for the most part. That frilliness, I you know, that's probably the blaster, old age, some of that around the edge, you know, but it ain't too bad. But all right, we're gonna go in the oven with them, and we'll show you what they look like when they come out. And I'm also gonna do the wheels and the, what do you call it? I'll show you something. Right over there is wheels and that little paper towel holder and that sort of thing on that cart cooling. They've had the hot coat put on them. And you guys didn't get to see that because I did not film it. But you don't really need to, I don't think. It's just a little redundant. All right, we're gonna put these in there. We'll show you what everything looks like when it's done.